we're going to start. And if people are late, we'll just publicly shame them. Let me ask you in the back, if I step off of this stage, how miserable is your life? All right, well, I'm sorry for all of you. I can't get any closer to you than this. This is now the box within which I live, which is just fine. I'm Liz. It's so nice to be here with you in this relatively small room. So good news, you get me all to yourself. Bad news, I'm probably going to look at each and every one of you in the next 45 minutes and ask you a question. So that's how this works. I can stand up here and talk one to all y'all all day, but that'll be very boring for me, so probably integrate you into the conversation. I'm excited to be here because 6 years ago, I started my very first business. It is a production company called Mighteor. At Mighteor, we make internet videos for brands. And really, that was extremely novel in 2013, this idea of a television woman leaving television and deciding to make commercials for just the internet. Now it seems like everybody does that. So I won't pretend to be special anymore, but what I will say is that I absolutely love the power of integrated channels, all of the platforms that we use today to help us connect with audiences. So, genuinely curious, how many of people in this room are responsible for generating content for whoever they work for? Any of you? Oh, good, almost all of you. How many of you work for a technology provider that helps make other people's content work? Okay, great. And how many of you are here because your boss paid for you to be here? Oh God, okay, there we go, thank you very much. Listen, I know it's the afternoon. My goal is for you to actually have a really great 45 minutes and that this is a lot of fun. And so I will say that I really believe that my job is to bring professional, client-focused attention to internet video, and that includes live streaming, and to have a lot of fun with it. So today what I want to tell you about is some of the ways over the last 6 years that my company has helped our customers turn video viewers into actual customers, and some of the ways that those things can be really easily done, and some of the ways that there's a long-term value to generating that kind of conversation. And if you're not interested in money, then you shouldn't be in this room. I think the most important thing to know is that we have been doing live streams for brands as big as American Express. We support Facebook's internal events function on Facebook Live, so that's a very confusing circle, but we do Facebook Live for Facebook. We do a lot of live streaming for technology companies, and we use a bunch of different platforms. The primary platforms that we use day in, day out are Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live. That is where we tend to put the vast majority of our effort. We occasionally work with third-party platforms or custom platforms that are built by our clients, but most of what I'm going to talk about today pertains to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live. Deal? Y'all, you're going to have to come alive, otherwise this is going to be a really long afternoon. Okay, so common KPIs for live. Number of viewers, minutes of retention, likes or subscribes. How many of you have had a conversation internally about these goals and metrics for your brand? Great. I personally believe these are vanity metrics. I do not believe that these metrics are actually valuable KPIs for understanding how valuable your content is. Let me tell you why. The vast majority of viewership can be purchased. Anything that can be purchased, meaning I can go online and I can say I would like to get 10,000 more people to watch this thing, inherently reduces the value of said KPI, whether that be the number of viewers or your likes or subscribe. Minutes of retention, you know, I do think that there is a value here to how long people watch your content. But the thing that I will say, and I've said this to many people like you, and I've said this to my customers, if somebody can watch your live stream and get a lot of value in the first 2 minutes, and they will make a purchase because of that 2 minutes, that's just as good as someone watching 55 minutes of your video and deciding to make a purchase. So just have a really clear mindset around retention, and the amount that someone watched something is not necessarily an indication of whether or not they'll convert, they'll buy, or engage with you. I know it's very difficult to divorce these ideas from our mind, but they are actually not inherently connected. Are you following me? Okay. So the real question for all of us in this room should actually be, what critical action do you want your viewers to take while they are tuning in or immediately afterwards? So let's just walk through a common action. So we work with a lot of B2B software companies. Their product at the end of the day is software. They would like to sell more seats and licenses for their software. The most critical action for them is usually one of three things. Provide us an email address so that we can continue to email you about our software. 2, actually taking a trial, so downloading a trial of the software. Or 3, signing up for their more information or for a demo. So think about this with your own brand. What are, at most, 3 critical actions that you would want a brand to take in order to engage with you? Now, I'm really resisting the urge at this exact moment to just jump off the stage and ask one of you to tell me this, but instead I'm just going to point like a weird teacher. You, sir, that just smiled, sorry you smiled, just give me one action that you would want an audience member to take while watching one of your live streams. Opt in. Great. That is what I'm going to talk to you about today. How do we get people to opt in? So the first step that we take when helping our customers identify those 3 key metrics is we ask, what action most commonly leads to a conversion in your existing funnel? So how do you figure something like this out? If you look at your existing funnel and you say, the most common reason that someone converts from interest to next step is because X. I'll give you an example. We work with Mighteor. Believe it or not, hearing aids are very, very popular with the Facebook set. And one of their most common moments of conversion is if they schedule an appointment to meet with a Mighteor professional, somebody who can talk to them about some of the things that they have questions about with regards to their personal hearing challenges, okay? So for us, the number one thing that we want to drive in most of their live streams is schedule an appointment to talk to a hearing professional. Why? This is oftentimes the 3rd or 4th step in the funnel. But with live streaming, we have this really engaged audience who's with us for a moment in time. We can expedite that process, skip 2 or 3 steps in the funnel, and move them very quickly to scheduling that appointment. We know that that is the moment when somebody will make a decision to buy. So I now turn it to you. I'm sorry. I told you, I warned you. Now you smiled. Sir, what's your brand? Who do you work for?
I work for mainstream media. We're on live stream production.
Oh, well, okay. That's fine. Well, you're just going to have to, I'll just make up a pretend situation for you then. So a common set of questions that I would ask you if you were a brand. How do you attract most of your customers right now? For many of our product company focused brands, it's social media or it's paid advertising. Then I might say, how many times do you have to touch with your digital assets? How many times do you have to have a touch with that customer before they make a purchase decision? I will tell you on average, some are as low as 3, many are as high as 25. It really just depends on the brand. But we want to identify that moment in time where they convert. And that moment in time when they convert oftentimes leads us to a list that allows me to know what we should put in your live stream. So these are some common things. Coupons and promo codes being offered and then used. So as an example, if you had acquired someone's email address and you knew that 30% of the time when we offer somebody who's been on our email drip campaign a coupon or a promo code, that is the moment of conversion, I now know that a coupon or a promo code is going to be a valuable piece of content to put into your live stream. Very, very valuable. And actually customizing it to that live stream is a really diligent way to be able to track that information to know later on how well that converted for you. What we will often do is actually change up the promo code over time in a live stream. So maybe on Tuesday's live stream, it's promo code XYZ, and then on the following Tuesday's promo code, it's ABC, and we know exactly which live stream we converted from. So you see, we're using that promo code to track the efficacy of our programming. I also actually know that a number of product-related questions is a common KPI. It's a common moment of conversion for our clients. What I mean by a product-related question is how many times do we have to answer a question, either in an in-person visit, like when you're speaking with a hearing professional, or online in a chat functionality until you make a purchase. The average for many of our clients is actually about 2.5 questions. So if you know that talking to a professional, talking to a consultant, talking to an agent within your business is a common way that you get a conversion to sale, the next thing you want to ask is how many questions are we answering? The reason being, we will actually reverse engineer the most commonly asked questions into our live stream. So we will say the top 20 questions that we get in our chatbot that lead to somebody making a sale are these top 20 questions. How do I pair this product to Bluetooth? Is this waterproof? What are some use cases for this product? And we'll take the top 3 and include them in our programming. We will then be able to know, did those 3 convert in a live stream? Are you tracking with me? Yes, okay, great. New email marketing signups, just like you said, those opt-ins. So for many brands, the most common thing that you need, and this is true with our company too, I should say, we want your email because we just want to annoy you incessantly. So we want your email, and so we will often offer something in the live stream if you provide us your email. So we've had people do it many different ways. One way to do it is to say, we will send you a coupon or a promo code if you provide us an email. We will provide you with a free digital download link to our white paper about XYZ topic if you provide us with your email. There are some really easy ways to do this. You can build a small microsite. You can do it in the comments functionality. There are a lot of easy ways to do an email intake on this. So at this point, what I'm going to say is, do you have any questions about these conversion-based KPIs? And just remembering that we talked about these as the common API. So this is a shift. We're making a shift from just thinking about how to convert our audience to thinking about how to turn them from just casual likes and casual subscribers into new email marketing signups. Are we tracking? Are we having fun? Is this just work? And so therefore, this crazy woman is here. She's overly excited about this topic. I know, I do. I love it too much. Okay. So now that you know this, and I'm not saying that those 3 KPIs have to be your 3 KPIs, go back within your organization and determine, again, what are those things that most commonly lead to sales conversion inside of our business. Then what you're going to want to ask is you're going to say, how do I integrate these metrics? How do I integrate these ideas into my run of show and regular streaming opportunities? So I'm assuming do I have to explain to anyone what a run of show is here? No? Okay, thank God. So some things that I do frequently in our programming is I will think about 3 ways that I'm going to integrate these metrics into the programming. The first is, where will it most organically fit? So if it's a promo code, the most organic place is actually not in the last 35 seconds on screen saying, oh, and this promo code is available for you, our viewers who stuck around for 55 minutes. Remember what I said. Minutes viewed is a vanity metric. If you can convert someone in the first 2 minutes of your live stream, why would we not do that? So what I would do is I would request of our client, why don't we reverse this program to where are we going to put these moments of conversion? Where are we going to put these opportunities to convert inside of our run of show so that we have a regular opportunity to get these people on board? 3 common places to do it. First is right after the introduction. So you might say, at the end of this show, we are going to be taking your questions, but right now we are going to provide you with this promo code, especially for the people who have tuned in today. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Very, very easy. You can also put that in the midpoint of the show, and you can put that into the wrap-up. I swear The number of people who think they have to do this only once is insane. 3 times is the minimum that I would suggest putting in a promo code, a request for an email. 3 times is the minimum. 5 times is the maximum in an hour. So think about that cadence, okay? And you don't just have to do this in VO or via your talent. This could also be a ticker. There's many, many people out in this expo hall who would like to sell you a ticker. There are many other graphical functionalities that would allow you to have that promo code running throughout the entirety of your live stream that would make it possible to do this. All right, so let's talk about promo codes specifically. Here are some places that I think promo codes work especially well. Product launches. How many of you have launched a new product in the last year? Okay, 1, great. Okay, maybe 2. You seem skeptical about it. Maybe the launch didn't go well. I don't know. Okay, so you might try doing a promo code oriented programming on your launch. And one of the ways that I would script this into a show is I would say, for the very first customers who are celebrating our launch with us, we are providing you with this promo code. And again, I remind you, make it a specific promo code that is trackable to that specific live stream so that you know how effective that promo code was. The second thing that I would recommend around is actually holiday and seasonal how-tos. We did a campaign with the NFL about literally like getting ready for an NFL party, and the entire live stream was full of new products for the beginning of the season, from napkins to different chip campaigns that they were doing with Tostitos to different home decor items. There was lots and lots of different ways to bring a how-to 20-minute live stream together in this setting. And I would also say influencer interviews and general kind of featurettes or testimonials where you're working in partnership with somebody who has a lot of brand validity with your audiences. So are any of you working with influencers at all? Some of you? Maybe trepidatiously. You don't know when they're going to do something stupid on the internet. Me either. I know this is, I mean, at this point, who knows what's going to happen. But very specifically, what we will do is we'll actually create a longer tail on that promo code by creating a custom promo code to that influencer conversation. So I'll give you a really good example. We were recently working with a book publisher, and they had a specific, we'll just call them a character, who is part of that ecosystem. And they wanted to have an influencer, a very famous mom, who is online, promote that book in a live stream. She was given a specific promo code to be able to advance in that live stream. And then she continued to use it on social media for the week thereafter, giving it a longer tail, connecting it to the longer campaign. So giving different people in your network specific promo codes that they can track within the network is especially important as well. Okay, does this make sense? Are we following? Do I have to jump off the stage and can drag you back into the conversation? Are we good? We got it. Great. Okay, email acquisition-oriented programming. All right, so somebody mentioned that they wanted to collect emails, and why wouldn't we all? So I think some things that actually work really well for live programming that allow you to do some email acquisition are behind-the-scenes tours. So do any of you work in physical locations that are interesting? Hotels, event venues, sporting facilities, anything like that? No, okay, I'm sad for you. Cubicles for all. So if I was working, we've done a lot of behind-the-scenes tours actually with tourism and hospitality clients. So having a live stream tour of, let's go view the penthouse. Let's talk about some of the things that you would experience as a customer at this hotel. Let's then go up to the bar upstairs and have a drink overlooking the city skyline. This is a great way. How do we get email acquisition? We run a promotion, a contest. We're going to be giving away 1 free room in this penthouse tonight. Provide us your email address and you'll get entered into that drawing. That is a great way to start building an email list. If you don't have a sexy hotel that you can show off, maybe you've got a live event. So if you have a big conference that you sponsor, actually sponsoring conferences, it's one of the biggest missed opportunities in the world to ask if you can live stream the session or panel that you are sponsoring, because there might be a person speaking at that panel who has a social media following that is robust. So if your company is sponsoring an event like this one, maybe not this exact one, because I am not sure that anyone on your social media channels wants to watch me, but let's just say that I am someone much more famous and that you wanted to live stream this conversation because your brand was sponsoring this event. That is a great way to get more people engaged with your brand. Now, how do you get email acquisition from that? What I will say is that we have partnered with folks to say, hey, if you provide us your email address, we're going to give you an additional piece of bonus content with this relatively famous person, right? An additional piece of bonus content. Or we've got a white paper on the topic that we just discussed in this event that you will get for free. Or we have a free demo for you if you provide us with your email. So anything that's going to lead people to say, I want to give you my email, and giving it by making it something interesting. It is not good enough to just say, it's an event, let's live stream it. It has to be a good event that is interesting for folks outside of the room. And then giveaways and promotions. Of course, if you want to give away a 20% discount, if you want to give away a single license to your product or service, all of those are good opportunities to get email acquisition if that is what your #1 drivers are. How many of you are trying to grow an email list? Okay. Something that is not up here that we are actually trying tomorrow for the first time at a big event in Washington, D.C., is that we're doing, if you provide us with your email, we will invite you to a VIP-only Q&A live stream with these people the next morning. So there's a high-profile group of leaders in Washington who are going to be giving a talk, and if people provide us their email address, they'll be sent an invitation to participate in a live Q&A online the next day. And we've been really surprised, actually, by how many more signups we've gotten from just that little event. And it isn't going to be as highly produced of a live stream as the big event. It's just going to be a simple phone-based live stream. And I think that actually makes it kind of special, makes it feel organic. It's a low-cost way to get more email acquisition. Yeah, there's to watch. You know, this is not the topic of this talk. And yes, no, I'm just kidding. I have lots of great ideas for how you can do that. I mean, so probably the top 3 ways that our customers do this is to get really focused on which platform they're going to offer the stream on and driving a lot of traffic that day. So they'll probably spend a little bit more money on ads. The thing that I will tell folks is if you want to really support a live stream, you probably want to spend between $500 and $1,000 just on Facebook ads to drive traffic to the post where that time slot is going to be pushed. And then just for the single day, that single day. That's a good way to drive some traffic on the day of your live stream. And then it's up to you if you want to continue to post. If that live stream is like really converting for you and you're seeing, wow, we're getting a lot new emails, or wow, that promo code is being used a lot, you can put some more paid marketing behind it. But I generally say on the day of the stream, let's just say it's happening at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we'll start running ads from like 7 a.m. to noon to try and drive traffic to sign up. Another thing that we will do is that we'll actually send out an RSVP, because actually sending out an RSVP tells us, do we think there's actually enough audience interest in this topic that it's even worth a live stream before we've actually planned it. So we will say, okay, there's a really important publishing house that we work with who frequently will send out, hey, do you want to talk to the top mommy authors of the year in a talk? And we'll make sure, we won't say who it is, we'll just say top mommy, and depending on the interest, we'll then produce the show, right? So we start to gather the RSVPs far before we actually program the show, and that's a way to determine, is this content actually going to be a converter for us? Because keep in mind, if nobody wants to watch it, it's probably not going to convert. So that's another way. And then the final way that we've actually done it, and I'm going to talk about this at the end, is we try to get brands on a cadence. So you can't just say, we're going to do a live stream once a year, and it's going to be on some random Wednesday, and then some random Tuesday the next year. the brands that see the most value in live streaming get into a programmatic cadence, just like any other marketing vertical that they're working on. So they'll say, we stream on Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and that's when we stream. And you start to build some audience expectation around that, and you can actually build a marketing plan up to that Tuesday that actually supports that plan. Does that make sense? Great. All right. So since I don't have any KPIs for all of you, we're not going to talk. We're just going to move on. But that's OK, because you can just ask me other questions about this case study, which I want to share. So we work with a product company. They're mostly an e-commerce brand. They sell about $100 million in product online. And they do a quarterly live stream that's very seasonal. So what I mean by seasonal is it tends to be a summer, a fall, a winter, and then a spring. And because their product aligns to those seasons, it works extremely well for them. And then we use a promo code as our driving KPI for that live stream. So if you think about, OK, I'm thinking about my brand. How might I work this into my marketing plan? How might I work this into our content schedule? If this looks like you, this might be a way to be thinking about it, a quarterly based seasonal live stream. The program generally rolls out new products. So they will wait to roll out this new tea for that quarter. So generally what it is we roll out the new product in the live stream. We do a little cooking segment. We talk about it, and then we offer a promo code. It is not a long show. It's about 12 to 15 minutes, depending on the topic. And then we do a lot of recutting of that live show for other marketing collateral to support that product launch. The results of this, 9% of viewers use that promo code. So a good viewership on that is about 20,000 people. And for them, 9% converts more than the cost to do the live stream. It covers the cost of the live stream by threefold. But the bigger value is that they're continue to building an audience that understands that new product launches come out in these videos. And so there becomes a driving engagement for their Facebook page where they were generally losing audience otherwise. So many brands, and I'll just put this in context, many brands last year, their business pages, and this may have happened to your brand, stopped getting organic reach last year on Facebook. The algorithm changed, and unless you had millions of followers, it was extremely difficult. It's like 2% of organic posts were getting through to the news feed, and people were not getting that engagement. By setting up a quarterly live stream with an expected date and a scheduled time, they've been able to increase and re-engage some audiences that had gone somewhat latent for them on their Facebook page. So this is why this is an important thing to do. Another example is a B2B software company. I talk about B2B software a lot because I feel like they make my whole world go round. We do a monthly live stream with them. And that monthly live stream is exactly on a cadence like we described. It's actually the first Thursday of every month. And they're driving KPIs email acquisition because they know that if they can send people a regular email campaign, they're going to get someone to convert to be a purchaser. The program generally features a live chat with thought leaders in their industry. So it's sometimes a person from their organization, but it's often somebody from another organization, somebody who's in the sphere of influence of their business, a thought leader who's really driving some aspect of the industry forward. And the program always wraps up with an invite to access new features. But spoiler alert, you cannot access the new features if you don't provide us your email address. So getting the new features is something that only happens if we get your email address. So that's kind of a way that we bring it in. You know, they've tripled the size of their email list in 6 months with this one program alone. So they went from having a pretty paltry 22,000 people on their email list to almost 70,000 people on their email list, and they're continuing to grow that using this metric as a way to do it. And you know, I think one of the things that I thought was really interesting was that existing customers started adding more seats based on that email campaign. Because people would say, oh, I want to access those new features, and then they discovered that someone else inside of their organization needed those new features, and they added 2 more software licenses to their package overall, which is of course generating a different kind of value, but obviously value nonetheless. So before I move on to my wrap up, any questions about these case studies? Yes?
So I'm interested, so you're saying that the B2B case study, you guys use Facebook live stream?
We do, and we simulcast, so we do Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was going to say, if you could just talk about like, the choices for a B2B would be different than like a B2C, right?
Yeah, I wish that LinkedIn would let me live stream, to be honest. That would be my ideal use case. So if anybody works for LinkedIn, there's an opportunity. No, so we primarily use YouTube and Facebook, and what we generally do is that we actually integrate it into a microsite, and people get an invitation to come to that place. So there's 3 different places where you can watch. You can either go to the microsite, you can get it on Facebook, or you can get it on YouTube. By and large, the microsite is actually the place where we have the most engagement because it's an invitation. But I think we've seen acquisition from the other channels, and it's actually helped to create a more robust network of audience for them, which I think is helpful because not everybody is finding them for the first time through that microsite. Maybe they're finding them on YouTube and then getting on the list. Yes?
Are you acquiring email addresses through Facebook or through YouTube, or are you driving those to the microsite to drop there?
So it depends on the customer. Every customer is different. So if a customer doesn't want to spend money, we just have them do it in the comment section of Facebook or YouTube, which I always tell them. Bad news bears, nobody wants to put their email address in comments, but some clients just don't want to do that. Generally what we do is we actually have 2 different ways that we do it. We work with a company called Comment Chat, which is an API where you can plug in different private chat functionalities into lots of different tools. And so that's a great one because people can just submit their email to a chat bot and it hides it and we're able to capture it on the back end. But then we also are able to work with microsites and different forms like that where we build in a quick little form. And the other way that can sometimes work, but I'm always cautious of, is just like a link to your email landing page. So if you're working with a SendGrid or a MailChimp or any of the other email hosting providers or email campaign management providers, you can just put a link for that inside of your player program or inside of your description, and people can go there and sign up that way. Lots of different ways to make that work. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of leave you with some final thoughts, and then I'll take any questions that you have. Cadence really does matter. So doing one flash in the pan live doesn't tend to be the most effective way to really scale this and make it work. I think if you build a programming schedule, you will see the most results. I really recommend for mid-sized brands where this is going to be a huge lift, starting with quarterly and then moving to monthly. So see how it goes on a quarterly basis. If you're seeing traction, if you're getting conversions, if you're getting the engagement that you're looking for and it's driving results, then move up to a monthly cadence. And we have some brands that are on as fast as a pace as weekly. So just knowing that you can get to the point where you're promoting a weekly show, a weekly program, if you start to build a cadence. The next thing that I would say is that expect to spend at least 6 months doing this. Meaning, if you're going to start with a quarterly basis, you should plan on trying this at least twice. And if you're planning on a monthly basis, you should plan on trying it at least 6 times. The reason is that audiences have to be taught what to expect. Unfortunately, most of us are not going to be Emmy Award winners at this the first time. And so we need to build some audience expectation. We need to learn from them and understand what's working for them. I find that it takes most brands about 3 months to onboard an audience, or about 3 programs, to kind of find the voice of what's working and what's tracking and what's getting people interested in the live stream. And I find that it takes about 6 months to see tangible, trackable results. I'm not saying that you couldn't just say, wow, we did this one time and we got 100 new email signups. Isn't that great? Like, that is great. But to truly understand if that's going to drive value for you over time, you really do have to continue trying it. And then I would say that consistency above all wins. I know that there's like a desire to not do anything but investing in little things like a graphics package that spells out exactly what your promo code is, or spending the time and effort with your graphics department to make sure that the design is on brand and you have everything looking the way you want is definitely worth it. It will also pay off later on. You know, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So if somebody happens to search your topic and you did a YouTube live stream, having that look good in the long term in the library is worth it. And finally, prepare your darn talent. The worst thing that you can do is just put, you know, your VP of sales in front of the camera and say, all right, Jimmy, go for it. Most people can't do that. So writing down a run of show, hey, we'd like for you to talk about these 3 things. Here's kind of a general script. Here's some questions. Those things do pay off. And if you're having a hard time getting somebody to be really good at it, look for somebody who's like a younger person within your organization, because I'm telling you, they will be ecstatic at the opportunity. And they oftentimes, especially if they're already social media literate and using it a lot, they'll have some of the natural skill to be engaging and vivacious. And oftentimes they're just the host. They're not the actual content provider. So I want to say thank you for listening to this conversation. It was dynamic and engaging for me. I hope it was dynamic and engaging for you. And if you have any questions at all, you can always email me at liz@mighteor.com. And of course, I try to always leave 5 minutes at the end for questions. And so you have exactly 5 minutes today. What can I answer? Yes?
Is there a kind of business that's great for this or bad for this? You know what I mean? If you ever had people come to you and go, you are not the right one.
Yeah.
I'm not recommending you.
Like if it's a brand new business, like you have no customers at all and nobody knows what you are, I would say don't do live streaming. And there's a couple different reasons for that. One, you don't want to be testing out your key messages and like your value prop in real time on live streaming. Like that just gets to be really, really crazy territory. I also generally think that companies that have a sales cycle that is more than a year and a purchase point that is more than 6 figures, generally it's not going to be great. So that tends to be like heavy equipment, any kind of like construction or trade industry, anything that's like going to generally take a long time to get the customer to understand. I don't think that this works particularly well. I do think that there's a lot of untapped industries that haven't figured out quite how to use this yet that could benefit from going live and being a little more vulnerable. You know, I haven't seen this done particularly well, for example, in like event services. I haven't seen it done particularly well with anybody who works in like government agencies. Like there's a lot of places where I think there's opportunity that folks haven't done remarkable work yet. You're smiling at me. Do you have a question?
No, I was just thinking about government agencies asking me for my email.
Well, they don't necessarily have a KPI, right? But they have, so I have a thesis that we all talk about how, I'm not going to get into this, actually. I'm not going to, yeah, we can talk about that later. What else? This was perfectly clear? Well, great. Grade A for me. All right, well, I'll be here. I'll stick around for the next few more minutes since there are no more questions. If you want to ask me a private question, great. And if nothing else, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I always enjoy helping people do this better. So have a beautiful day.